Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Bertel Harding Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Sophie Milk ñu ngi fété juróom benn ati cafka bu dul dañ ñoo leen indil Jalika full cream milk powder neex saf sàpp te bari cafka pour di leen jërëjëfati si ni ngeen defee Sophie Milk seen favorite milk brand. Léegi mun ngeen a jëfandikoo empty Jalika milk sachets wala carton pour gagner ay xéewal yu riche. Pour gagner motorbike dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty carton yi Jalika milk pour gagner yeneen xéewal yu mel ni PlayStation 4, TV, fridge freezer, gas cooker, bicycle wala mobile phone. dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty Jalika milk sachets def leen si biir enveloppe binda si sa tur ak sa téléphone number. Mun ngeen ko yóbbu si bépp Jalika milk agent bu leen gën a jege. Pour xam bi si raful yi dem leen Jalika milk Facebook page. Jalika milk mooy meew bu ees bu leen so fi indil gën a neex saf sàpp te riche.
It's a warm reception to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Jacqueline Coley. In the headlines tonight, Gambia to soon digitize birth and death records. Gambia eliminates trachoma. National Eye Health Board raises concern over traditional healers. UN Chief calls for commitment to restoring the planet. On the international scene, Kenya's intensive care units under severe pressure. Asian urged to consider Myanmar's explosion over coup abuses. Such critical as oxygen supplies run low. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The Gambia will soon go digital in keeping records of births and deaths. This revelation was made by the Registrar of Births and Deaths at the Ministry of Health, Lamin B. Fati. Our Sane here with the rest of the story.
With support from UNICEF and the World Bank, plans are afoot to digitize records of births and deaths in the country. Since independence, manual storage of data on births and deaths has remained the practice. However, the Gambia government is now partnering with the global bodies of the World Bank and UNICEF for a radical departure from the norm. The Registrar of Births and Deaths says the plan for migration from manual to digital was at an advanced stage.
We did the national assessment of the whole system. What we call comprehensive assessment was done, and the reports were generated. This report came with the recommendations. Among these recommendations were we need to review the legislature, that is the act legal framework need to be reviewed, and this has been done. A bill has been drafted. We have done the finalization. What is left now, the bill at the moment is even at National Assembly for review. Of course, it is going and coming forward for comments to be input by the legislature, and then also the technical people will put in their comments.
According to Mr. Fati, the review of the 1990 legislation on death and birth records is born out of the need to tailor-make it to suit the current realities. He explained that record-keeping of births started in the country around 1880s and that the laws that were then formulated covered only the colony and some parts of the protectorate. Fati, however, added that some changes were down the line made to the legislations to the extent that the entire country got covered. The Registrar of Births and Deaths explained that their engagements with UNICEF and the World Bank has revealed that manual approach to storage of death and birth records is not feasible.
So the challenges we have in the operational fight along the way is that some of the records cannot be kept because we don't have proper archive system, and then the durability of the papers are no more there as they used to be, and also people who are offered or given birth certificates cannot maintain their copies with them one way or the other, either due to disasters or poor handling, and also it get lost along the way. So they will come back again for the certificate to be retrieved, and we find it very challenging sometimes. Some of the records are no more intact.
Meanwhile, Mr. Fati spoke about how digitizing birth and death data would accelerate the generation of statistics for decision-making. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Awasane.
The Gambia Health Authorities has succeeded in the elimination of trachoma. Trachoma is an infection that affects the human eye. However, the Gambia started its journey fighting the disease date back in 1984. Our Modo El Baji today has an exclusive interview with a very instrumental player in the elimination of trachoma in the country.
This milestone achievement by the Gambia earned it WHO validation as the second country in its African region to eliminate the neglected tropical disease this year. The WHO Assistant Director General for Universal Health Coverage, Communicable and Non-Communicable Diseases, Dr. Ren Mingul, described the development as a great step towards the 2030 goal set by the recently launched 2021-2030 roadmap for neglected tropical diseases. WHO Regional Director for Africa, Dr. Matsidiso Moiti, said the eradication of trachoma in the Gambia is a remarkable achievement that has saved children, mothers, families from preventable visual impairment or blindness and improved their quality of life and well-being. It was established in the mid-1980s in a national survey that trachoma was responsible for almost 1 out of 5 cases of blindness countrywide. Infection mainly affect children, becoming less common with increasing age. The long-term consequences of infection develop years or even decades later, with women up to 4 times likely than men to be affected by the blinding. Complications of trachoma due mainly to their close contact with infected children. Sadio Kanyi is the program manager for the National Eye Health Program and coordinator of the National Trachoma Program in the Gambia. Mr. Kanyi said despite the Gambia's milestone achievement in the elimination of trachoma, there should be no room for complacency.
Because it's good to reach elimination, but after elimination, surveillance is very, very important. If you look at the country, we are covered by Senegal. We have these lumos all over the country. These lumos are normally held in strategic areas which are around the borders, cross-border. So the next 3 years is going to be very, very, very crucial for the Gambia. That is surveillance to ensure that the good work and the gains we've achieved through trachoma should not go in vain. And that one we will need support. The partner needs to support us. Our principal partners used to be Sightsavers, but Sightsavers is no more in the country. They are in Guinea-Bissau. So definitely the eye program will need support in order to sustain the gains. Number one, we have the facilities, we have the equipments, we have the capacity. All that is required now is resources, ophthalmic consumables for us to be able to carry out effective service delivery, and also provide us with vehicles for us to continue outreach activities, ensuring that eye care program is brought to the doorsteps of the patients.
Meanwhile, trachoma is a devastating eye disease caused by infection with the bacterium Chlamydia trachomatis. The infection spread from person to person through contaminated fingers, fomites, and flies that have come into contact with the discharge from the eyes or noses of an infected person. Poor hygiene, overcrowded households, inadequate access to water, and inadequate access to or use of proper sanitation facilities are some of the environmental risks for trachoma transmission. For Star TV, I am Modu Elbaji.
The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has emphasized the need for commitment to the restoration of the planet as well as making peace with nature. The UN boss made this call as he addressed the globe on the occasion of the International Earth Day. Daro Cham has more.
Earth Day is an international event celebrated on April 22nd each year to pledge support for environmental protection. 2021 marks the 51st anniversary of the Earth Day, and the theme is Restore Our Earth. Earth Day marks the anniversary of the birth of the modern environmental movement in 1970, when it was first celebrated on April 22nd. We heedlessly plunder the Earth's resources, deplete its wildlife, and treat air, land, and seas as dumping grounds. Crucial ecosystems and food chains are being pushed to the brink of collapse. The UN Secretary General Guterres pointed out in his 2021 Earth Day message. This is suicidal. We must end our war on nature and nurse it back to health, he underscored. The Secretary General stressed that ending war on nature calls for bold climate action to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. He highlighted the need and urgency for stronger steps in protecting the biodiversity and reducing pollution and waste. For the UN Environment Programme, the International Day highlights the need to shift to a more sustainable economic and benefits more people and the planet.
Now, a day hardly passes by without the airwaves being inundated by adverts of the traditional healers claiming quick care for eye complications. Mode El-Badi has been speaking to the program manager of the National Eye Health about it.
Survey has shown that many Gambians are turning to traditional healers, an indication of how a number of people are losing faith in modern medicines. FM stations in the country are generating good revenue from adverts and airtime as traditional healers turn to them to popularize their services. Desperate and unsuspecting customers are increasingly resorting to traditions for healing, and there is a proliferation of healing outlets across the country as so-called healers intensify their media outreach. However, the program manager for the National Eye Health Program and coordinator for trachoma program in the Gambia is concerned. Sajo Kanyi has cautioned Gambians to avail themselves of the opportunities being provided by various eye care facilities across the country than turning to untrained eye care givers.
The second point is, anytime I listen to the radio stations, I will hear that there is a doctor called Dr. living in Pajukunda or Dr. living in Sinchu Alaji. He can cure cataract for 2 minutes. What I'm telling Gambians is, Gambia Eye Care Program is a model in Africa. We are the second country to eliminate trachoma in sub-Saharan Africa. The 11th country in the whole world to eliminate trachoma. Let people come to make use of the eye health facilities across the country. If you are in URR, you don't need to come to Banjul. Go to Basse, you'll get the best services. If you are in CRR, go to Bansang. If you are in LRR, go to LRR. But they go to these traditional practitioners, cause more damage, and they end up coming back to us. Gambia Eye Care Program is well established and is renowned all over the world. So let Gambians not be deceived by these people who go to the radio stations, pay their air time to say they can do cataract in 2 minutes. We studied a number of years to become cataract surgeons. You cannot study cataract in the street.
Mr. Kanyi revealed that the Gambia currently has adequate primary eye care centers in the country.
Let's make use of the service that is available in the Gambia. There are 24 primary eye care centers in the country, 8 secondary eye units in the country, all manned by cataract surgeons, and these are all Gambians. And we have the main tertiary center here. We have 2 Gambian ophthalmologists. So this program is sustainable. All that is required is the government has taken ownership. If we look at the 6 building blocks, one is talking about leadership. You can see the leadership at the Ministry of Health. They are very much committed. All what I'm requesting is for them to support the eye care program so that the gains we've achieved will be sustained for the prosperity.
Meanwhile, it has yet to be seen how people claiming cure for eye complications could be dissuaded in the absence of a legislation and robust enforcement regime. For Star TV, I am Modi Elbaji.
Those were the local stories. We will be back with international news after the short break. Please stay tuned.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulunding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding. Gosh.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Sophie Milk ñu ngi fété juróom benn ati cafka bu dut dañ ñoo leen indil Jalika full cream milk powder neex saf sàpp te bari cafka pour di leen jërëjëfati si ni ngeen defee Sophie Milk seen favorite milk brand. Léegi mun ngeen a jëfandikoo empty Jalika milk sachets wala carton pour gagner ay xéewal yu riche. Pour gagner motorbike dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty carton yi Jalika milk pour gagner yeneen xéewal yu mel ni PlayStation 4, TV, fridge freezer, gas cooker, bicycle wala mobile phone. dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty Jalika milk sachets def leen si biir enveloppe binda si sa tur ak sa téléphone number. Mun ngeen ko yóbbu si bépp Jalika milk agent bu leen gën a jege. Pour xam bi si raful yi dem leen Jalika milk Facebook page. Jalika milk mooy meew bu ees bu leen so fi indil gën a neex saf sàpp te riche.
And now beyond our borders, as infections rise in Kenya, health workers say they are having to decide which patient gets bed in intensive care. Government hospitals are also desperately short of V, putting more lives at risk. And as Al Jazeera's Catherine Saw reports from Mahakos County, some people and companies are being accused of hoarding oxygen cylinders.
Geoffrey Maloki's wife, Pauline, died from COVID-19 complications in March. A government isolation facility in Kitui in eastern Kenya, where they live, did not have enough oxygen.
My wife was suffering, so we decided to move her to Nairobi. We called so many hospitals, but they were full. When we finally got one, we had to quickly pay a down payment because 6 other people were on the queue.
In neighboring Machakos County, health workers take us to the intensive care unit, or ICU. All 12 beds have been occupied for a while.
When we get patients who also require COVID-19 ICU care, then we talk to the surrounding neighboring counties to see whether they have beds available.
The country's nearly 600 ICU beds fill up first, and demand for oxygen has almost doubled to about 800 tons. Government hospitals don't have enough, and health ministry officials say thousands of cylinders are being hoarded by individuals for private medical or industrial use. But there is some hope. This is the country's largest privately owned steel factory. It has stopped all production, losing about $30,000 a day to provide the oxygen to hospitals for free.
Hundreds of hospitals and health centers get their oxygen from here. About 1,000 cylinders are filled up with the gas every day, full supply. But even that is not nearly enough to meet the demand.
One patient is taking almost 3 cylinders of oxygen every day. And it is impossible for any hospitals to cope up with this demand.
To avert the total collapse of the healthcare system, the government wants to reach herd immunity to the disease through vaccinations as quickly as possible. Nearly 1 million people have so far had their first dose of the UN COVAX distributed AstraZeneca vaccine, but the supplies are running low, and there's uncertainty about the availability of AstraZeneca for the second jobs. Machakos Hospital has vaccinated about 12,000 people, but authorities are concerned about those falling ill and dying in rural villages.
So what have we done? Now we've required that every person who dies in Machakos has to be tested for COVID, because people are falling dead. Some of them may fall dead at home, especially older people.
Back in Kitui, Maluki tells us he wants the government to provide facilities for patients who cannot afford private hospitals, so they don't go through the same trauma his family did. Catherine Soy, Al Jazeera.
The protesters are angered by the decision to invite Myanmar's army chief to Asian Leaders Summit in Jakarta. The coup and the brutal crackdown that followed are top of the agenda, but there seems to be little consensus about how the regional grouping should react. As Al Jazeera's Tony Ching reports from Bangkok, Thailand.
Buddhist monks marched through the city of Mandalay, holding up signs supporting the National Unity Government. The shadow civilian government was formed to reverse any acceptance of the military junta at home and abroad. But protesters have been outraged in the past week by ASEAN's decision to invite Senior General Min Aung Hlaing to the Leaders' Summit. For those pushing neighbouring governments to take a stand against the coup and the crackdown that followed, it's a grave disappointment.
We are very, very upset and sorry about what is happening, because ASEAN is welcoming the junta, which is killing its own people.
The chaos that's been seen on the streets of Myanmar over the past 3 months has been disturbing for many within ASEAN. Individually, countries like Singapore, Indonesia and Malaysia have condemned the bloodshed and urged restraint. The possibility of a failed state within the bloc threatens ASEAN's claims of economic and political stability, but others have remained relatively quiet, expecting that protests would be limited and quickly suppressed. Within ASEAN, Thailand is the country that has the best relationship with Myanmar's generals, but the Thais don't seem very keen on intervention, which might explain why the Thai Prime Minister is staying at home this weekend. That lack of unity and failure to hold Myanmar's generals to account are likely to be costly. The World Food Programme is warning that millions could go hungry in coming months, and fighting in border areas could send refugees pouring into neighbouring countries.
This is a humanitarian disaster in the making. It's the early stage, but it can get worse. The knock-on effects from this crisis we're beginning to see, civil war, failed state, and there will be no end to it.
Protesters in Darwin hold a candlelit vigil for the victims of the Myanmar protests. Now more than 700 people. But few are expecting more than thoughts and prayers from ASEAN's leaders. Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
The search for a missing Indonesian submarine with 53 people on board has reached a critical point. Crews are working in waters around the Indonesian island of Bali, and countries are helping. Families of those on board say they are praying for their loved ones, as Al Jazeera's Jessica Washington reports from Jakarta, Indonesia.
In Indonesia, this rescue operation grows more urgent as the hours pass. 53 people were on board the KRI Nanggala 402 when it went missing, somewhere in the waters near the island of Bali. The submarine has been in service for 40 years. Its crew was taking part in a training exercise when it lost contact in the early hours of Wednesday morning.
Until now, we still have not had contact with the submarine KRI Nanggala, while the search is being done intensively.
Indonesian authorities requested help from the country's nearest neighbours.
Assistance from neighbouring countries includes Singapore in the form of the Swift rescue ship. It's a submarine rescue ship.
Malaysian soldiers are on board a rescue vessel and expected to reach Indonesia in a few days. And the Australian government has also offered to provide assistance.
It is not a submarine that Australia operates. Our submarine class is quite different. But whatever we are able to do, we have undertaken to do.
Indonesian military personnel spotted an oil slick in the sea, which officials say could indicate a fuel leak. Time is now at a critical stage in the rescue operation.
The oxygen in a blackout condition can last for 72 hours or 3 days, so that if contact was lost at 3 o'clock, the oxygen will last until Saturday at 3 o'clock.
Authorities say the submarine was in good condition, suitable for combat. It underwent refitting in South Korea and was returned to Indonesia in 2012. This is the first case of a missing submarine for Indonesia, but fatal accidents involving military equipment are common. The KRI Nanggala 402 was built in the late 70s in Germany and has been in service in Indonesia since 1981. Defence experts have long called for a major overhaul of some of the country's ageing military equipment. Indonesia is looking to expand and upgrade its submarine fleet in coming years, but experts say the task should be treated with urgency.
I'm not saying our maintenance is not good, but accidents have happened here many times, especially when it comes to old military equipment.
As the search continues, investigators are asking how a routine drill turned into a major crisis for Indonesia's Navy. Jessica Washington, Al Jazeera, Jakarta.
And now, before we end the news, a quick recap of our main headlines. Gambia to soon digitize birth and death records. Gambia eliminates trachoma. National Eye Health Board raises concern over traditional healers. UN Chief calls for commitment to restoring the planet. On the international scene, Kenya's intensive care units under severe pressure. Asian urged to consider Myanmar's explosion over coup abuses. Such critical as oxygen supplies run low. That's all for this edition of the news. Do join us tomorrow for more news. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Thanks for watching.